I'd like to share with you a really powerful technique that you can use right now to release painful emotions, thoughts, and even physical pain and discomfort. Now, I'll keep this video short because, like most people, you're probably really busy. The technique is called Emotional Freedom Technique, EFT, or tapping as it is sometimes called, and I use it with almost all of my clients because it is so effective. So why is this important? Well, because I believe that you have the right to be happy. So many people seem to get stuck suffering, and I think that's sometimes because they don't know it's possible to reduce their suffering. And EFT can help you to do that right now. To save time, I'm not going to explain why it works in this video. Just try it for a while and find out how effective it is for yourself. So let's get on and I'll show you what EFT is all about. So let's start with learning where to tap. You can start with either hand, and you would normally start by tapping the edge of one of your hands like this. And you can either tap or massage, it doesn't really matter. You then move to the top of the head, and you can see that I'm just tapping gently and lightly all around the top of the head. You then move to the inside edge of the eyebrow, and you tap or massage with one finger or two. You then move to the outside edge of your eye socket, again tapping or massaging. And you then move to underneath the eye socket, tapping or massaging. And then you go to underneath the nose and tap lightly there. And then underneath the bottom lip, just above the chin. And now the next point is slightly more difficult to find. If you go to the knobbly bit at the centre of your collarbone and then go out towards your shoulder by about 2 centimetres and down, the point is actually in there. Some people find it quite difficult to get to. So an easy way of doing it is just to use those fingers there on your sternum. Now my microphone's there, so it might be a bit clunky, but you get the idea. And the vibrations will get to the right point. And then lastly, we go underneath the arm. And again, we use the flat of our hand and the vibrations get to the right point. Now, while tapping, we talk about our problem in a certain way. Many people who are new to this find tapping rather strange, so I sometimes start on that feeling of it being strange. If this seems strange to you, I wonder if I ask you to guess the intensity of that feeling, where 10 was really strong and 0 meant you'd already let go of it. I wonder what you'd say. So while thinking of that, while thinking of how you feel about tapping, let's move on. First, we say the setup phrase while tapping the edge of the hand. So even though, and then you state your problem, and then you say a balancing statement, like, I completely and deeply love and accept myself. Or if you're not ready to say that yet, you can say, I'm working towards loving and accepting myself. Or maybe just I'm okay. So it's important to use the words that describe how you feel. So while I might be turning around and doing an example in a minute using the word silly, you might like to say daft or stupid or whatever word it is that best describes how you feel about tapping right now. So we'd say this setup phrase 3 times. So let's do it. Even though this tapping feels a bit silly, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though this tapping feels a bit silly, and remember to use the words that you feel, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though this tapping feels a bit silly, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Now we'd work around the points of the body, saying the phrase that reminds me of the feeling. So, just a little bit silly. Again, you would use your words, so if you don't feel silly, if you feel daft or embarrassed, you'd say those words. Okay, so just feeling silly. Can't really see how this is going to help me. And you'd echo these words. Don't really know how this works. So I just feel a bit silly. Just feels a little bit silly. Again, say the words how you feel. Describe how you feel about tapping at the moment. Just can't quite believe that something as simple as this is going to help me. Can't quite believe that something as simple as this is going to help me. Let me just go around again. Just feel a bit silly doing this tapping. Don't really know how this is going to help me. Can't really understand how it works. Don't really believe yet that this is going to help me. Just seems too good to be true. Just feel a bit silly doing this tapping. Remember to replace the words that I use with the words that feel right for you. Just feels a bit daft. Just seems too good to be true. So once we've gone round the points twice, saying the reminder phrase, we now go back to the edge of the hand and we repeat our setup phrase. So in our particular instance, it was about feeling silly tapping for the first time. So even though I feel a bit silly doing this tapping, I don't really understand how it's going to help me. I deeply and utterly love and accept myself. So that's what we call a round. The setup phrase 3 times, 2 lots all the way around the body, and then going back to the setup phrase once. And then we just simply pay attention to what's there now. When you think of tapping, what's there for you now? Has the intensity of that feeling changed yet? And let's say that it has reduced a bit, because normally it does. Normally, when I sit down with somebody one-on-one, they'll see the feelings improve. We would simply repeat the process, noting the improvement. So something like this. Even though I still feel a bit silly, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I still feel a bit silly, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I still feel a bit silly doing this tapping, I completely love and accept myself. And we go around again. Still feel a little bit silly. Still don't really understand how this works. Because you probably don't, unless you've done lots of other research into it. So I just feel a bit silly. It seems too good to be true. It just seems a bit silly. And just being in a state of allowing that feeling of silliness to go. Just saying the words that remind you of how you feel or how you felt. So, perhaps you're still feeling a little bit silly. Perhaps you're feeling a little bit self-conscious. You're wondering how this is going to help you with some of the bigger issues that you want to tackle. You're not sure how effective it's going to be yet for you. So you still feel perhaps a little bit silly. Or maybe you're noticing letting go of that already. Perhaps you're already noticing a positive change. You just say the words that are right for you. Or describe how you're feeling about this tapping process. Whatever it is that describes, the words that describe how you feel is fine. So that's 2 times round again, and then we go back to the edge of the hand. So even though I'm still feeling a little bit silly about this tapping business, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And again, you just pause for a moment, maybe have a sip of water. Maybe you'd take a nice deep breath and just let go. And then you'd pay attention to how you feel when you think about tapping. You'd notice what was there for you. And you'd simply repeat the process until you've either reached 0 or until you find you've plateaued, until you find you've reached a level and it's not really dropping and you've tapped for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Now, problems are a bit like dandelions. They've often got deep-seated roots. So working on the problems and pains on your own will normally give you some relief, like chopping the head off of a dandelion. And sometimes you need to do that. Sometimes you need to just chop the head off. The benefits of working with a practitioner, though, are that it allows you to safely and comfortably get to the roots of a problem. And that often allows you to really start living the life that you want to live. Well, I hope that was helpful. Please share this video with others and feel free to email me if you have any questions. And thank you for tuning in and listening to me for these few moments.